humans were sent to a Class 15 Deathworld, an uncharted planet that no sensor had been able to fully map, and which the galaxy's most experienced explorers whispered about in fear. From orbit, the planet's surface swirled with violent storms, jagged mountains and rivers that glimmered with an almost unnatural reddish hue. The planet seemed alive, not in a comforting way, but as if it were aware of intruders, aware of the human presence above. Even the light bending through its thick atmosphere carried a sense of warning, a quiet but insistent plea to turn back. Commander Arlen Hayes stood at the bridge of the expedition ship, intrepid horizon, staring at the holographic display of the planet below. His crew of 24 humans were seasoned explorers, soldiers, and scientists, each with a record of surviving missions considered high risk by even the most daring interstellar agencies. Yet, as they observed the planet, a shared unease settled over them. "Sensor readings are unstable," reported Lieutenant Myra Talon, the ship's lead scientist. "Gravitational fluctuations, extreme radiation pockets. Some of the data doesn't even make sense." "Noted," Hayes replied, though his voice betrayed none of his apprehension. "Prepare the landing party. We're going down." The humans had been tasked with surveying the planet for a newly discovered energy source. Command had assured them of its importance, though they had not explained why this planet, known to destroy ships and crews without explanation, had suddenly become a target. As the intrepid horizon descended through the thick clouds, the crew felt the subtle tug of the planet's powerful magnetic fields. The ship's hull vibrated under forces beyond the normal limits, yet Hayes kept the vessel steady. When they finally touched down on a jagged plateau, the landscape that greeted them was both alien and hostile. Reddish dust swirled around them, carried by violent gusts of wind. Towering rock formations jutted at impossible angles, and deep fissures split the ground, exhaling clouds of noxious gas. Above, lightning crackled in the darkened sky, forming patterns that seemed almost intentional, as though the planet itself was trying to communicate. "This place is alive," whispered one of the soldiers, a young man named Iran. His usual bravado was absent, replaced with a rare vulnerability. Hayes nodded slightly, though he refused to let fear show. "Stay focused. Our mission is to collect samples, locate the energy source, and get out. Do not underestimate this planet." The landing party, armed and equipped, disembarked. Every step they took was met with resistance. The soil beneath them seemed to shift, almost swallowing their boots. Rocks emitted low-frequency vibrations that rattled their teeth. Even the wind carried a strange intelligence, guiding them toward certain paths and blocking others. "Commander, the readings are changing," Talon said, her voice tense. "It's almost like the planet reacts to us." Hayes frowned. "It's a death. Everything reacts to us. Keep your focus. Scan for the energy signature." Hours passed as they navigated the dangerous terrain. The energy readings led them into a deep canyon, the walls jagged and threatening, the air thick with an almost tangible hostility. It was here, in the heart of the canyon, that they first felt a subtle pressure in their minds, like a whisper from the planet itself. Not words, but emotions, desperation, fear, even pleading. "It's trying to tell us something," Duran muttered. "It doesn't want us here." Hayes shook his head. "Planets don't have wants. Keep moving." But the canyon seemed to resist their progress. Rocks fell from above without warning, forcing them to take dangerous detours. At one point, a fissure opened beneath Talon, nearly swallowing her. Hayes grabbed her just in time, and as he pulled her back, he realized the planet's hostility was more than environmental. It was intelligent, almost sentient. They finally reached a plateau overlooking a vast chasm, and at the center, a faint glow pulsed rhythmically. Talon's scanners confirmed it. The energy source was here, buried deep within crystalline formations that towered like monolithic spires. "We've found it," Talon said, her voice barely above a whisper. "But it's reacting." Before anyone could respond, the ground trembled violently. Rocks shifted, fissures widened, and from deep within the chasm, a sound arose, low, resonant, almost like a groan. The humans instinctively fell to the ground as the canyon walls shivered. It was as though the planet itself was angry, or perhaps terrified. "Back away slowly," Hayes ordered. "Do not provoke it." As they retreated, a figure emerged from the center of the energy field. At first, it seemed like a mirage, an enormous, serpentine form of translucent crystal, glowing from within. Then, it became unmistakable. The planet had a guardian, a being born of its energy, its rocks, and its atmosphere. It raised a crystalline appendage toward the humans, not with aggression, but as if reaching out. Talon whispered, "Alive. It's alive and intelligent." Hayes' mind raced. This was no ordinary mission. The humans had stumbled upon a sentient planetary entity, a consciousness that had endured millennia, surviving the harsh conditions that had destroyed countless explorers. Yet, despite its apparent hostility, there was a pleading quality in its movements, a warning, a desire for the humans to understand. The humans froze, uncertain whether to attack or retreat. Duran, still shaking, lowered his weapon. "I think it's asking us to leave, or maybe not take the energy." Hayes studied the creature. "If we can communicate, we might survive this." He activated the universal translator, aiming it at the shimmering form. A voice echoed in their minds, not through speakers but directly into consciousness. Leave, do not take, survival will end. The translation startled the humans, but it clarified the planet's intentions. This energy source was not merely a resource, was the lifeblood of the world, something so essential that removing it could destroy not only the planet, but perhaps destabilize the surrounding star systems. Talon stepped forward, her voice steady. Commander, we can't take it. We have to respect it. Hayes nodded. Agreed. Mission changes. We record, we leave, we report. The Guardian lowered its appendage, as if acknowledging their decision. The tremors subsided, the fissures closed, and the wind stilled. The planet seemed to exhale, a relief that washed over the humans as if they had been holding their breath for hours. They began their retreat, documenting what they could without disturbing the energy source. Even as they moved, the planet's intelligence continued to communicate subtly, guiding them safely through unstable terrain. Every step away was met with a gentle easing of environmental hazards, as though the planet appreciated their compliance. Hours later they reached the ship. Hayes looked back at the glowing canyon, the crystalline Guardian now still, almost regal. Remember this, he said quietly. Some victories are in restraint, not conquest. As the intrepid horizon ascended, leaving the Deathworld behind, the humans reflected on what they had witnessed. They had expected a hostile, lifeless world, but what they found was intelligence and life, a consciousness that demanded respect. Their mission had not failed, they had survived, but they had gained something far more valuable, a lesson in humility, and a reminder that humanity's place in the galaxy was not one of dominance, but of understanding. Back on orbit, Talon compiled the report. The energy source is too dangerous to remove. The planet is sentient. Any interference could provoke catastrophic consequences. Hayes reviewed it silently. The humans had been tested, and they had passed not through strength, but through empathy and wisdom. As they set course for home, the planet faded from their senses, but the memory lingered, haunting and awing. Humans had faced one of the deadliest worlds known, and yet it was not their technology, their weapons, or their courage that had saved them. It was their willingness to listen, to respect life beyond their own. Somewhere in the void, the Deathworld waited, alive and patient, perhaps hoping that one day humanity would return not as conquerors, but as partners in the vast, unfathomable expanse of existence. And as the stars stretched before them, Hayes understood the truth of the galaxy. Intelligence, patience, and respect were far stronger than any weapon, and sometimes survival depended not on what you take, but on what you leave untouched.